This is Darren Mariulia, CTO and founder of SDM Software and the GPOguy.com website. SDM Software is the leader in solutions for group policy management. Today I'm going to walk you through a quick demo of our powerful GPO Exporter tool, part of the GPO reporting pack that includes Exporter and our GPO Compare product. GPO Exporter lets you create reports of GPO settings across all GPOs in your domains. You can use it to search for a particular setting or settings within the domain, and it helps you look for conflicting settings across GPOs. The tool generates reports in a variety of formats, including CSV, PDF, and Excel. There's also a PowerShell interface that lets you export settings from the command line. Let's take a look at the product now. I'm going to go ahead and run the export wizard. It lets me choose a domain and lets me include optionally metadata associated with each GPO, or control the delimiter that is used to separate out paths and values. I'll go ahead and choose the defaults. And when I choose the defaults, I'm able to choose the GPOs that I wish to export. I can select GPOs within the domain, or I can select all GPOs. I then have the ability to export specific policy areas within the GPOs that I've selected, or all policy areas. And I'll go ahead and choose all. Now the export's going to run, and it's basically going out to my domain and grabbing all of the settings out of all of the GPOs in my environment. I have about 250 GPOs in this particular domain, and grabbing all of the settings data and returning it in a list that lets me output that data in various formats, or search on it, or sort it, or do any kind of organization I want to the settings. Now that it's returned the settings, you can see a list of all of the GPOs. You can see here that I've got 10,031 settings returned. And it returns all of the settings related to each of the GPOs, and the setting path and the setting value. I can search for a particular setting keyword, for example, password. Go ahead and search. And I can find here that in this account policy test, I have a maximum password age found. I can go ahead and search, continue to search across multiple GPOs. If I wanted to find out, for example, how many places or how many GPOs have set the enforced password history, I can also sort the list. And I'm sorting the list by essentially path name, setting path name, and that lets me go to the particular path or GPO setting that I'm interested in. And then I can search until I find the setting area that I'm interested in this case, enforced password history, and I can see that indeed it's set in a number of different GPOs and with different values. So I can see possible conflicts between this setting across all of my different GPOs. If I had exported metadata, it would have allowed me to actually see where those GPOs were linked. In terms of reporting, I have the option to go ahead and generate a report of all of the settings or specific settings that I'm interested in. I can go ahead and click the Generate Settings report, and you'll see here that it creates a nice file that I can use for printing or output to PDF or Excel. I can also save a particular export of GPO settings as a CSV file and load a previously saved report. This gives me the ability to save off snapshots of my group policy environment, and then be able to retrieve those and view them and search through them at a later date. And that concludes this part of the demo. Next, we'll look at the PowerShell interface into GPO Exporter. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at the PowerShell interface into GPO Exporter. I'm just going to go ahead and show you a quick example of how you can use the exporter with PowerShell to get sort of the power and flexibility of each. I'm going to go ahead and call the exporter commandlet, which is called export SDM GP settings, with the all parameter. The all parameter actually goes out and for my current domain grabs all GPOs, all setting areas, and dumps it to what is essentially a PowerShell object that you can then manipulate, search on, export to CSV or whichever format you find useful. You can use it and PowerShell to do a lot of filtering and essentially fine-grained control over the output of the GPO content. So the export SDM GP settings commandlet provides a lot of the same functionality as the GUI, but you get the flexibility of using PowerShell. And as you can see from the output, let's go ahead and move up to the top here. We've got the name of the GPO, the path that the setting exists in, and the setting value. And I could do things like searching on particular setting values, searching for particular paths with using PowerShell. I can pipe this output to other commandlets to perform other additional automation tasks. That concludes the demo of GPO Exporter. Thanks for watching this demo. I encourage you to visit our website at www.sdmsoftware.com to get more information about our products, or you can download a demo version of the Exporter product. Thanks very much.